And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at Back to the Future Back in Time board game, made from Funko, a game designed by the Prospero Hall team. I think we can all agree that Back to the Future is one of the greatest movies ever made, and if you think differently, you're wrong. But it is a very popular movie, right? A lot of fun, and here's a board game about it, a cooperative board game nonetheless. Now, I will say, a little leery about such things because, well, I haven't played a good Back to the Future game yet. The theme has been used by other companies before, and IP games don't always work. Also, time travel is a little tricky in games, which this game preempts by having nothing to do with time travel. It's about the 1950s, the main sequence of Back to the Future, where Marty is in the past trying to fix things, him and Doc Brown, so he can get back to the present. So it's a cooperative game focusing on that part of the movie. Here's how it plays. In this game, players are going to play either Einstein, Jennifer Parker, Marty McFly, or Doc Brown. And all four of them could be playing the game. It's a cooperative game. And what you need to do is, as the game progresses, there's a turn tracker here for 4 players, or 2 or 4 players, or 3 players. And each turn you'll be moving this, and players will be taking actions. And when you get here, November 12th, 1955, at 10:04, 2 things need to be true. The DeLorean here needs to be in one of these 3 spaces, ready to go down the streets at 88 miles per hour. And there's a love tracker here, and this needs to be in one of these final spaces. You need to make sure that the 2 people here, George and Lorraine, are in love. If those 2 things are in those spots at the end of the game, you can get there earlier, it's fine, but they have to be there at the end of the game. If so, you win. You lose. This picture is going to be fading over time, and if the picture completely fades away, then players as a whole lose. Now, on a player's turn, they're going to be moving the token and doing whatever actions it shows here. These actions are going to be fading a piece of the picture, eventually fading 2 pieces of the picture. The picture won't fade if George and Lorraine are in the love area. So that's one way to stop it from fading, but you have to get it up pretty high for that to happen. Also, trouble cards will show up. We got trouble right here. And you'll turn these cards over and put them in the locations, and they will cause a negative effect to the game. Like, for example, when Strickland here looks for slackers, players can't fight Biff on that round until this card is taken care of. So there's always going to be 1 trouble, and troubles come in levels 1, 2, and 3. And then every turn, you're going to be drawing a movement card, or even more movement cards as time goes by. And this will tell you if you're going to move George and Lorraine around the board, and then you'll also be moving or activating Biff a certain number of times. So here we'll move George counterclockwise to space and activating Biff twice. Now, after that's done, then it's your player's turn. And you have a bunch of tiles here over the course of the game. These tiles can be flipped over, and you can do them in any order and things like you want. You also have a special ability. For example, Doc Brown can move to where the DeLorean is for free. But he can also spend a tile, any tile here, to move 3 spaces. Or you can attempt a challenge, and when you do a challenge, you can roll as many dice as you want, 2 at least of 1 color maximum. So I could roll up to 8 dice total, I guess, if I had 2 of each color. And you can use this until all your tokens are gone, and then a turn passes to the next player, and your tokens regenerate. If you're in the same space as somebody else, they can even use their tiles to help you out, to assist you on a challenge. So players are going to be moving George and Lorraine. They're on the board, they start in their houses, and what you're trying to do is you're trying to put them together and to keep them around Biff. Because Biff, when he's activated, is going to move to the closest one, and if he's in one of or both of their spots, then he'll be moving the love tracker down. Players are going to be wanting to move the love up. For that to happen, you need to have your character in the same space as both of them. They both need to be there together, and then you need to make a challenge. Now, like I said, in challenges, challenges, you're going to be flipping tiles to roll dice. The game comes with 8 dice of the different colors here. When you roll a dice, you're going to be looking for specific symbols. So let's say you're making a love challenge. You'll hopefully be rolling pink dice because you want to roll the love symbol here. So there's a 1 and a 2 on each side, but there's also wilds on 2 of the sides. 2 of the sides are biffs, though, and if you roll those, you'll activate them. And in fact, the way dice rolling in this game works is I roll. If I get any biffs, I set them aside, and then I can re-roll dice if I want to. Every die has 2 wilds on it, so you can use any die in any challenge and hopefully get a success. But the more you re-roll dice, the more chance you have of getting biffs, which will make Biff move around and try to mess up the relationship between George and Lorraine. So that's one of the challenges that you can do on your turn, is to attempt to make those people fall in love. You can also go around the board. There's going to be opportunities. Now, opportunities, you'll just go to a specific opportunity. So here we need to borrow George binoculars. All I need is one of these yellow symbols. So if I roll that on a challenge die, then it succeeds, and you get the reward. So here I would get the binoculars item. There are a lot of different items in this game. So we have here, for example, the backpack. And you can use an item once per turn. A sci-fi magazine, a cassette player, Lorraine's locket. These all give you special abilities. Like George's notebook, I can make George move 2 spaces towards me. Or here, if I fail a challenge, I can exhaust this to refresh all the tiles that I used in that attempt. So there's all sorts of things that you can get. But you also get a power tile here as a reward. So you're going to want to do these because these will give you more power tiles that you'll be able to add to your board. Power tiles can give you 2 different dice or multiple dice, or something like this, which lets you move up to 6 spaces, or something here that lets me re-roll those annoying biffs, or maybe this one, which gives me a die of any color, or here, turn my wilds into double wilds. And so there's all kinds of things. Maybe turn the green symbols into wilds. And you can only have 8 tiles total, but as the game goes by, the more of these opportunities that you do, the more tiles you can get. Players are also going to try to make challenges where they're going to attempt to move the DeLorean. And for that, you're going to need these move symbols, or like I said, wild symbols. And for each one, you'll be able to move the DeLorean a certain number of spaces. Now, once a DeLorean gets to Doc Brown's house, you need to have gasoline, a cable, and a hook. Those are located in various spots around town. And you can see there's one here, this cable's here at Hill Valley High, and the hook is here at the clock tower. And you're going to need a certain number of green symbols to get these. Once you make that success, they simply go to Doc Brown's house. Once all 3 things are there and the car swings through, you'll be able to keep moving the car forward. The last thing that's going to show up are various trouble cards, and these are things you can take care of too. As you go through these, you will be able to, you'll have to fight the challenges, and the challenges will get harder, but until you get rid of that challenge, it's going to cause a negative thing. So for example here, Biff puts a sign on George's back. You're going to move Biff's to George's location, and every time you move Biff, he just goes right to where George is. If you stop this, you get rid of the negative effect, and you get a reward, in this case, a power tile. I hate Biff. I hate him, I hate him, I hate him, I hate him. Fortunately here, you can knock Biff out. You can fight Biff. That's the last thing you can do. And when you fight Biff, you're just trying to, basically take him out with these stars here, and you can knock him down. That way, the next time a Biff symbol's rolled or it comes up on the cards, he just stands up. Not only can you knock him down, you can knock him down for the count. You can add up to 3 tokens here. So if you manage to pull that many tokens up against Biff, then you can kind of escape with these people. And the tokens here, if let's say 3 Biff symbols are rolled, 1, 2, 3, and he's still knocked down. It would take 5 for him to actually start moving again. Speaking of that, as you move around the board, you can take George or Lorraine. You can't take them both at the same time. You can take them with you and drop them off in different locations, which is a good way to make sure that they're together. Now that's kind of a general overview of the game. You're just trying to do those things. There's not a whole lot more involved than that, but it is the combination of opportunity cards. Every time you complete one of these, a new one pops up. They're going to give you different items and equipments and new power tiles, and you never know what kind of trouble cards are going to come your way, and you're just trying to stop and make everything happen. So that's the game. I like the components for this game. The miniatures are not like amazing, but they're good enough. Each miniature is a different color, and you can tell who everybody is in this. The clock tower, which was a little bit of a pain to put together, is actually a dice tower. You can drop the dice into it. By the way, the dice, super high quality dice. I like them a lot. but you can drop them in and roll them out if you want to. The tiles and everything, but I want to focus on the art. I'm a really big fan. I'm glad they didn't use screenshots. Having drawn art just really looks good. I think it does a good job. And as you look through the different things, they're all the different things from the game. The Starlighters guitarist is injured, or the gang spikes the punch fountain, or the gang steals lunch money, or the DeLorean won't start, or the gang causes a ruckus at the cafe, or they disrupt traffic. The gang's always doing all sorts of things. And I just like the art in this game. It really brings it to life. And this idea of the picture, you know, as the picture here, and you're turning these over and having people fade away, is such a neat thematic thing. It works really well. Just for the kind of game this is, I'm really happy with this. And while I said the miniatures were okay, the DeLorean is awesome. Last year, I stood in this very spot and raved to you all about a game from Prospero Hall, and not from Funko, but by the same design team, called Horrified. Horrified, based on the Universal Studio monsters, where they went through, and I said this was a great, amazing, family-weight strategy cooperative game that's good for families, but gamers will also enjoy it, and I think it could be a pretty big hit, and it was. I would like to say that again. Back to the Future, Back in Time is phenomenally good. I am very happy with it. First of all, I often use this phrase, but it's definitely the truth here. This game is brimming with theme. The theme comes through very strongly, other than maybe the dog running around Einstein. I mean, Einstein was there. His special ability is he can scare Biff away. So there's that, but I don't think Einstein is running around making people fall in love. But okay, they needed a fourth character. Technically Jennifer wasn't, and it doesn't matter. Okay, but the characters are there, and I love that what you're trying to do is you're trying to get these people to fall in love, and these things happen, and the guy comes out and calls people slackers, and you know the gang messes this up, the DeLorean won't start. That's all there, and it feels like it, and then, like, the components and artwork don't hurt. So I'm really pleased about that. So that's step one. So good, they did that. But is it a good game? And it is. I like cooperative games to not be so difficult you can't think you can beat them, but you also don't want them to be a walkover. This one feels like it's right there in the middle. You know, it's tough enough to beat, and it's going to be different how you play it each time. The trouble cards that come up and things. And if there's one small thing I might worry about this game is you might get bored a little bit with the replayability aspects, maybe, because you are literally doing the same thing each time. But I think that all the different cards, the opportunity cards and the different tiles you get, I think that's different every time. So I don't think that's a big deal at all. I don't think the replayability is an issue, but you are going to be accomplishing the same goals. But it's like, what do? You got to split the things evenly. You know, you got to keep that DeLorean moving. That's important to get it to the end. You got to go find the parts for it. You got to make these two people fall in love. And then Biff, if you hated Biff in the movie, you're going to hate him even more in this game. Because he's just constantly in there. He's wrecking up a pain in the neck. The die mechanism's really good. And because there's dice, there is luck. Obviously, sometimes you'll roll, and it's amazing what happened. And there was, when I play this game, stand-up moments like, yes! And then there's also, ooh, Biff. It's good. I'm just so happy about this game. I'm happy because I know people who haven't played many games will go to the store and go through it, read an excellently written rule book, which doesn't look like a rule book because it's Tales from Space. It's a comic book type thing. But this rule book is so well written. It's so well done. It shows you everything. Has an FAQ on the back. This is a great rule book. This game is a great game. It is a game that I recommend to families. If you like the movie, you want to play this game. If you like cooperative games, you want to play this game. If you're looking for a good gift to give other people, this is an excellent choice. I think a lot of people are going to be singing his praises soon of this game. I really do. And I think for good measure, this is what it should look like when you say, let's make a game based on a movie that feels like the movie, but is also a good game. They made an excellent choice here to cut out the time travel because that can be confusing in a board game. Here, it's just the theme in the background. The theme itself is the closer, hey, I need to make George and Lorraine fall in love, and I also need to stop Biff from messing things up. That's kind of a small, close lens on the theme, but it works in this situation. And so by doing that, the design team kind of helped focus it, keep it thematic, but also make it a close personal theme that is fun. And as you roll dice, you can see the different things happening. And that, you're not following the movie necessarily on rails because maybe this time Biff did succeed. Maybe this time Marty, this skateboard didn't help Marty. So I like that, and it all comes together in a wonderful package. Highly recommend it. Back to the Future, Back in Time. Dice Tower Judgment, excellent.